If you're not confident in servicing your bike yourself, despite our GCN Monday maintenance videos, then it's a good idea to take your bike to the local shop to get it serviced occasionally, just to make sure that it's still safe and roadworthy. But what can you expect to get from a basic service? Well, that very much depends on how much you're willing to pay, what type of bike you've got, and what type of riding you do. Now, we're assuming that having watched our channel, you know how to lubricate your chain and pump your tyres up to the correct pressure. But if you don't and you're a complete novice to the sport, that should be one of the first things that the bike shop checks. One thing that every bike service should include is a general safety check. That means going over the tyres, making sure the sidewalls aren't perished, there's enough grip and tread that it's not going to cause you a hazard when you're out riding. They should also go over the frame forks and the rest of the components, making sure there's no excessive rust or even cracks which might cause a component to fail on you whilst you're out riding. And also, they'll just go over each of the bolts and make sure they're correctly tightened up. Beyond the general safety check, it's quite hard to place the next part of a bike service in order of importance, but there are a few key points that we at GCN like to make sure are regularly checked on all of our bikes. We'll start off with anything with a bearing. That means the hubs, the bottom bracket and the headset. Keep them clean and well greased, and your components will be running smoothly and lasting for longer. Same goes for the chain. That wears very quickly on any bike if you use it regularly. Replace that often, and in the long run you'll save money because a stretch chain will wear both the chains at the front and the cassette at the rear, and that means that you could end up having to replace the whole lot. On to cables now, and it's amazing how quickly you get used to riding with old mucky or even frayed cables, which of course don't work very efficiently. And you'd be surprised at how different your bike feels if you replace both the inners and outers of the gears and brakes. And talking of brakes, the bike shop should also check for brake pad wear. It doesn't matter if you're using disc brakes or rim brakes. If the pads get down too low, you risk going down to metal on metal, which of course doesn't offer a great deal of stopping power. Onto the wheels now, and if you've got a slight buckle in one or both, then it shouldn't take a good bike shop too long to straighten those out for you. And whilst they've got the wheels out, they should also check for wear on the braking surface of the rim. It's surprising if you ride regularly in mucky or gritty conditions just how much that surface can get worn down, and if it gets too low, then you do risk complete wheel failure. For you mountain bikers out there, it's quite likely that you own a pair of suspension forks. Get the bike shop to give them a quick service. Likewise with hydraulic brakes, get them to bleed them and check that there are no leaks. The biggest recommendation that we can make though is to have a detailed discussion with your shop before you hand over your bike and your hard-earned cash. That way you'll know exactly what you're getting and the bike shop will know what you're expecting. However, do bear in mind that any quote that they do give you won't include the cost of any replacement parts. But what you should really do is stay tuned to GCN. That will save you a lot of money, because here on Maintenance Monday we're bringing you a lot of videos with the basics, and it's not really that hard to do. It can't be, because I've done it. Next, it's time to stretch the tub onto the rim. This can be quite a finicky process, and an extra pair of hands at this point can come in, well, handy.